we're taught in neurolinguistic programming to model the success of others. So for a long time earlier in my life, I thought I needed to copy what others did. And you can do that up to a point to have successful habits and ways of thinking, but there's always something else that is unique to you. It's all about connecting your heart to your mind. The mind sees how to become successful mechanically, but the heart's potential can never be fully realized in a sector that does not belong to it. There are sectors in the information space of realities that your heart belongs to. So how do you find your true star sector? How do you shine? There's no need for the mind to worry about this. Because when left unhindered, the heart will always find the path of self-expression. This is all about connecting to your heart, becoming coherent with your heart, and using your heart to guide its way like a lighthouse through all the possible realities that are available to you. With your mind, you have a task, and that is to forget about other people's experience, to acknowledge your heart's extraordinary nature, and to allow it to find its own path. That is hard because the mind thinks it knows everything. Teenagers are particularly susceptible to the influence of pendulums because they're so new to the world. They don't yet know what to do or how to behave, so they will look at other stars and act like them. It is easier, more reliable, and safer to mix in with the crowd, living life in the same way as everyone else, rather than to stand out and shine for any particular reason. The crowd instinct provides a feeling of security, but fundamentally severs the buds from the stem of individuality. You will have noticed now how the majority of young people dress in the same style and use the same vocabulary and behave consistently with each other. I did it. I wore my parachute pants to school when everybody else did. I know that's a long time ago, perhaps that ages me a little bit, but despite their superficial gloss of independence and autonomy, we always end up following this pendulum. And the rule of the pendulum is do as I do. We believe that we embody modernism of contemporary generations, but who among us is really risk creating and valorizing the new? Among teenage population, it is always the fact that few have given themselves permission to reveal the hidden qualities of their soul and become the leaders and the mavericks. It is these few, the mavericks, who develop their own individuality that later become the trendsetters, the ones to set the tone, to create new movements, and chase new opportunities and prospects. They don't copy other people or religiously obey the rules. They allow themselves to realize the distinctive qualities of their own soul. Pendulums will not ordinarily put up with any expression of individuality, but in the case of the upcoming star, they are left with no choice but to accept them as a favorite. Some people shine so much, the pendulum has no choice but to say, oh, look over there. Then the next round of favorites is put on a pedestal and spotlighted as new models for adherence are given for the masses to worship. There's nothing wrong with a young boy wanting to be strong like his hero, or girl wanting to be beautiful like her heroine, but they should not only copy them, or for example, set themselves the task of building the same muscles, acquiring the same way of moving or talking or singing or playing as someone else. The reason we like these people is because they have realized their own unique qualities right within their own sector of the quantum field. Of course, there would be some kind of initial role model that can serve as an example like a demonstration copy, but not as a yardstick or template to be emulated. Your yardstick is your soul. Simply allow it to explore all its qualities within your current timeline. It is better to put a photograph of yourself up on the wall and admire than someone else's. Love yourself. It's extremely beneficial and constructive. Loving yourself leads to self-approval. Eventually, you can be punished by balancing forces by loving yourself too much, but it takes a lot these days to love yourself too much. You can love yourself too much where you become selfish. We're not talking about that. We're talking about loving who you are.